everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a swatch and review of the OPI DC collection. Now this collection did come out, I want to say maybe 2 months ago. It was their fall collection, and I've been trying to get this video up for a while, and there's 12 polishes in this collection, but I was missing one polish from my order. I got a duplicate of one of the polishes, and I was trying to get the duplicate exchange for the polish that I was missing. They ended up sending me another duplicate instead of the polish that I was missing, so I had to wait for a while I got like all of that sorted out. I finally received the entire collection. I have the entire collection, and I'm here to show you guys live swatches. I did decide to do live swatches for this. I did have a little bit of extra time during my filming schedule, so I decided just to go ahead and give you guys live swatches, since a lot of you guys do tend to like the live swatches. So again, there's 6 polishes in this collection, and they are all cream finishes. I'm going to start off with the lightest of all of the polishes, and this is a nude-ish looking polish, and it's called Pale to the Chief. This polish is not light enough where it could almost pass off as a white. It does have a little bit more brown in there. You can tell that this is a nude polish, and I like the way this builds up. On the second coat, it's still a little bit sheer, but it doesn't apply very patchy. So if you like those more sheer polishes, you can use 2 coats of this, and it's still going to give you that little bit of a sheer look, kind of the sheer polish like what Essie is known for. And again, it's not patchy, so it looks good. It looks good with just 2 coats, and you can still see a little bit of that visible nail line. But if you use a 3rd coat of this, it is going to completely cover the nail line, and it's going to look like a beautiful, clean and nude manicure. I really do enjoy nude manicures sometimes. I feel that nude manicures look very elegant. I actually don't own that many nudes in my collection, and most of the nudes that I have are those like sheer-ish type nudes, so I'm really glad I picked this up. This is a really nice option for a nude if you are that type of person that likes to wear these neutral colors. And again, nudes are always great for nail art. The next polish in the collection is like a mid-tone, medium-toned brown, and this is called Squeaker of the House. And this polish took 2 coats to be fully opaque, but depending on your application, you may need a 3rd coat for this polish. It's the perfect in the middle brown. I really like the tone of this brown too. It does have a little bit of those red undertones in there, so I don't like browns that are too neutral because they tend to wash me out a little bit. I think this is a great color for fall. Brown is one of my favorite colors to wear in the fall time. I get a lot of use out of browns because I do a lot of nail art that has some type of leaves or dark earthy tone colors. So this is a color that I will get a lot of use out of when I do nail art. And out of all of the browns in my collection, this is the brown that's kind of right in the middle. Again, this is called Squeaker of the House. And then there is another brown in this collection, and it's a much darker brown. It's called It's Top Secret. And this one, I thought it was going to look a little bit more brown on my nails, but this is one of those browns that is almost dark enough that it looks black on your nails. So I could only really tell that this was brown when direct sunlight was hitting it, or when I put it up to a light. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm talking about. In my pictures and in my swatches, it almost looked like I was applying a black polish, and I kind of appreciate that because apart from Linkin Park After Dark, I don't really have any other polishes that are so dark that they look like they're black, unless you're looking at them in direct sunlight. This polish did build up really nicely. It took 2 coats to be fully opaque. If you do very thin coats, then it may take 3 coats to be fully opaque, but this was completely opaque for me in 2 coats. The next polish in the collection is this, I say more like a canary yellow, maybe a little bit more muted than a canary yellow, and it's called Never a Dullest Moment. I was actually a little shocked on how well this polish built up. It took 2 coats to be fully opaque, but when I looked a little bit closer, I did see that there was some spots that were a little bit lighter, and it looked just a little bit patchy, but that's only for a person who's very, very nitpicky. It almost looked perfect in 2 coats. So I decided to go in and do a 3rd coat, and it did build up really nicely. So again, 2 to 3 coats depending on your application and how picky you are. I couldn't see my visible nail line with the 2nd coat with this, but yellows are just notoriously difficult to work with. They take normally 3 to 4 coats to be fully opaque. And like I said, this is like in between like a canary yellow and like a mustard yellow. It's not as bright as a canary yellow. It's a little bit more muted down, and I think this is a perfect yellow for the fall time. I did a manicure using this yellow. It's actually the manicure that I have on my hands right now, and the next polish that I'm going to show you guys. And the next polish is called Freedom of Peach, and this is like a burnt peach. I wouldn't necessarily call it a peach. It's a little bit more muted, and it definitely has a like more reddish hues in there. Like it has that burnt kind of terracotta looking burntness to it, if that makes any sense. And this took 2 coats to be fully opaque. I love the formula of this polish, which is odd because to me peaches and yellows tend to have like the worst formula. Most of the polishes that I have trouble with are peaches. Maybe because this has those brownish reddish hues in there, it's why it built up so nicely, but you can tell that this is peach, or that it's a peach tone. I really, really like this polish. It's a little bit lighter than the next polish I'm going to show you guys, but not by much. The next polish is called Yank My Doodle, and this is just a darker version of Freedom of Peach. But as you guys can see, Freedom of Peach and here's Yank My Doodle. Yank My Doodle is pretty much just a darker version of Freedom of Peach. It has a little bit more burntness to it, a little bit more terracotta in there, more red, more brown. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous color. Fully opaque in 2 coats, depending on how thick of a coat you do. You can almost get this fully opaque in 1 coat, but I just did 2 coats to be on the safe side. I love this color for fall. This is one of my favorite colors to wear on my nails. It reminds me of fallen leaves. I live in Maryland, so we get a lot of those like leaf color changes. So you get the oranges and the reds and the burnt, all of those burnt colors. It's just a gorgeous, rich color. And I think this one and the Freedom of Peach are 2 colors that are definitely worth picking up in this collection. The next 3 colors are like the blue-green colors of the collection, and I'm going to start off with my favorite green of the collection, and that's called Suzi, the First Lady of Nails. This is the base color that I'm wearing for my manicure today. It does dry a little bit darker than the polish you see in the bottle. This is a little bit of like a darker, like it's in between like an olive green and an army green. It's kind of right in the middle, and especially because it dries a little bit darker, it tends to look more of like an army green on your nails. And I think this polish is a standout in the collection. I think it's a very unique color. I don't necessarily have a green like this in my collection, even though I have lots of greens, because green is one of my favorite colors to wear in the fall time, and especially around Halloween. This is just a gorgeous green and a perfect green to do Halloween manicures. The next polish in the collection is called Stay Off the Lawn, and the only thing I don't like about this polish is that it tends to separate a lot in the bottle. Hopefully you guys will see that in the bottle shot. There is a lot of separation, so I did have to do a lot of shaking with this polish in order to get the color to completely mix in the bottle, because if you didn't, you could kind of see the pigment separating a little bit when you were applying the nail polish. So I did have to do quite a bit of shaking with this polish, but this polish was almost opaque in 1 coat, but then when I went back and really looked at the polish, there was like some spots that were a little bit lighter than other parts of my nail, so I decided to do a 2nd coat just to fully even out the color. But apart from it not properly mixing, this does have a really, really nice formula. But I feel like there's lots of dupes out there for that type of color, so I don't really think it's necessarily a unique color in the collection. So the next color is called CIA equals Color is Awesome, and this is like a darker, more muted like navy color. This does dry down a little bit darker than what you see in the bottle. Almost fully opaque in 1 coat. I did end up doing 2 coats to fully even it out Gorgeous formula, gorgeous color. But again, I don't really think this is a very unique color. I do have several polishes in my collection that are similar to this color, but it does have a really nice formula. I didn't see any staining with any of these polishes. So if you don't have any blues like this in your collection and you are looking for a blue that has a good formula, then I would suggest this one. Again, it's called CIA equals color is awesome. So the last three polishes are all pinky red colors. The first one is called Madam President, and this is essentially a fuchsia. It is pretty bright, so I was a little confused why they would have such a bright pink color in a fall collection. However, this formula is... Sorry, that was my dog. However, the formula of this polish is perfect. It's almost fully opaque in one coat. I did kind of a thin coat just to see how it would look like with a very, very thin coat when I did my application. And even using a thin coat, I almost got this fully opaque in one coat. But I don't find that shocking because normally if you're going to have a one coater, it's going to be like a green, a blue, or some type of like red or pink. So the fact that this is almost a one coater isn't extremely shocking because there's lots of polishes out there and there's lots of companies out there that have made one coaters out of, like I said, pinks, greens, blues, and reds. I don't think this is necessarily a standout polish in the collection unless you're looking at like formula wise. This is a really nice formula for a hot fuchsia pink. The next polish in the collection is called OPI by Popular Vote, and this is a little bit of a muted hot pink. So in comparison to Madam President, this is Madam President and this is OPI by Popular Vote. As you guys can see, it has a little bit more purple in there and it's a little bit more like muted down. It's a little bit dustier of a pink. Again, a really nice formula. Fully opaque in 1 to 2 coats depending on your application. I didn't see any staining with this polish either because once you start going into those darker colors or those more intense colors, especially the ones that are fully opaque in one coat, they do tend to stain, and I didn't have an issue with any of these polishes staining. And then the last color is called We the Female, and this is, I would definitely say this is a little bit more of a burgundy. It has those plum notes in there. It has a little bit of like berry in there. It has a little bit of brown in there. It's definitely a lot darker than this is OPI by Popular Vote, and this is We the Female. So as you guys can see, it is a lot darker than that, and especially a lot darker in comparison to the bright fuchsia. But again, the formula of this was just really, really nice. So these three may not necessarily be unique colors and may not be worth it if you're looking to pick up unique colors in the collection, but the formula was really nice on those three polishes, which makes them really good for nail art, which makes them really good if you are that type of person that is constantly changing your polish or doesn't have that much time to change your polish. One coaters are always really nice for that. So I would recommend them for that if those are the type of polishes you're looking for. So that's it. That's everything in the OPI DC collection. Overall, I'm really impressed with this collection. I normally don't pick up fall collections because I feel like every brand's fall collection normally has colors that aren't that unique, but there were several colors in this collection that I did think were very unique colors. And then I'd also been hearing really good things about the formula of all these polishes, and they didn't disappoint. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live swatch and review. Please give this video a thumbs up if you do. Please don't forget to subscribe. I am currently posting 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.